Question number 166. With increase in body temperature due to enhanced metabolic activities in human body, the first option is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve will shift to the right side at tissue level. And as you can see in this figure, which represents oxygen dissociation curve or oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve, in x-axis you have partial pressure for oxygen and on y-axis percent saturation of hemoglobin. And as you can see here, as the temperature increases at tissue level, the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve will shift towards right side. So this is a correct option and is a correct answer to our question. The second option is affinity for hemoglobin for oxygen will increase at tissue level. This is an incorrect option because as you can see in this oxygen dissociation curve, that at tissue level, this is at tissue level, when temperature increases, when pH decreases or it is acidic pH, when concentration of CO2 increases, the graph will shift towards right and affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen decreases. So this is an incorrect option. The third option is sensitivity of chemoreceptors to PO2 increases dramatically while it falls for PCO2 and hydrogen ions. And this is an incorrect option because sensitivity of chemoreceptors increases dramatically when there is increase in PCO2 or hydrogen ion concentrations. The fourth option given is Bohr effect will not occur, and this is an incorrect option because Bohr effect occurs at tissue level. So the correct answer for this question is option number 1. Let's proceed to our next question. Question number 167. Select the incorrect match. And the very first option given is stomach wall, oblique muscle layer present. And this is a correct match. The second option is presence of 3 roots in upper molar in humans. And as you can see in this figure given in your NCERT book, you can see here, this is your molar and it has these 3 roots. And the presence of these 3 roots characterize these molars. So this is a correct match. The third option is thiamine deficiency causes beriberi, and this is also a correct option because thiamine, which is vitamin B1, its deficiency causes beriberi. The last option given is chylomicrons, and it is a product of emulsification in intestinal lumen, and this is an incorrect option and is a correct answer to our question. As you can see here in this figure, in intestinal lumen, emulsification of fat droplets leads to the formation of mesocyl, and these mesocyl when enter enterocytes will reformed into chylomicrons, and these chylomicrons from enterocytes enter lacteals in small intestine. So this is an incorrect option and is a correct answer to our question. So the correct answer is option number 4. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 168. Glucose and fructose are produced by digestive activity of which enzyme in intestine? And the very first option given is maltase, which is an incorrect option because maltase will produce what? Maltase will digest maltose into 2 glucose units. The second option given is amylase, and amylase is also an incorrect option because amylase will act on starch and produce maltose. The third option given is lactase, and lactase is also an incorrect option because lactase digests lactose into glucose and galactose. And the last option given is sucrase, and this is the correct option and is a correct answer to our question because sucrase will act on sucrose in small intestine and produce glucose and fructose. So the correct answer for this question is option number 4. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 169. decrease in affinity for oxygen by hemoglobin at tissue levels can be due to. And as you can see in this figure, this is at tissue level when there is high temperature, low pH, that is high hydrogen ion concentration, or acidic condition when there is high PCO2. This will lead to reduction in affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen at tissue level, and it will shift the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve towards the right side. Now let's discuss the option first. The very first option given is reduction in pH, and it's a correct answer to our question because there is reduction in the affinity for oxygen by hemoglobin. The next option given is decrease in PCO2 levels, and this is an incorrect option because it is increase in PCO2 levels at tissue level which will reduce the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. The third option given is decline in bicarbonate ions in blood, and this is also incorrect because bicarbonate ions, which is a byproduct or which is formed during the transportation of carbon dioxide, because decline in bicarbonate ions in blood indicates decrease in PCO2 levels. So this is an incorrect option. The last option given is decline in bicarbonate ions released by pancreas, and this step of digestion has no relation to the decrease in affinity for oxygen by hemoglobin. So the correct answer for this question is option number 1. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 170. Read following sentences carefully and select the incorrect one. And the very first option given is during expiration, PO2 of expired air is more than alveolar air but less than atmospheric air, and this is a correct option. And as you can see in this table, the partial pressure of oxygen in expired air is 116 mmHg, and this is less than the partial pressure of oxygen in inspired air or atmospheric air, but more than the partial pressure of oxygen in alveolar air. So the first option is a correct statement. The second option is during expiration, PCO2 of expired air is less than PCO2 of alveolar air and more than PCO2 of atmospheric air. So as you can see in this table, that PCO2 of expired air is 32 mmHg, and this is less than the PCO2 of alveolar air, which is 40 mmHg, and more than PCO2 of atmospheric air, which is 0.3 mmHg. So this is also a correct statement. Our third option is sum of partial pressure of all gases at sea level is 760 mmHg, and this is also a correct statement. The last option given is the partial pressure of O2 and CO2 in the systemic veins is same as that in pulmonary vein, and this is an incorrect option because if we compare PO2 and PCO2 in systemic vein and pulmonary vein, and systemic vein, PO2 is 40 mmHg, whereas PCO2 is 45 mmHg. Whereas PO2 in pulmonary vein is 95 mmHg, which is greater than the PO2 in systemic vein, and the PCO2 is 40 mmHg, which is less than the PCO2 in systemic vein. So this is an incorrect option and is a correct answer to our question. So the correct answer is option number 4. Let's proceed to our next question.